Are you enjoying that little ditty that they play at the start of every single level? I know I am. I'm gonna get to hear it many more times tonight, which makes it that much better. At least you guys have it spread out over a couple days for each episode. I have no idea what frequency I'm posting this on. I did try recording a project earlier, but I had a massive slowdown on my computer, dude. It was not happy. Which, the game runs fine without, you know, the screen capture device, but when it's on, oh boy, it does not like that. I was hoping I'd get that green one right there. Looks like we get another chance here, though. Yeah, get him out of here. Honestly, if you have to choose between taking out an enemy that's slow versus an enemy that's fast, you should probably get the fast one out. In this case, it'd be the green guy. If you had to pick an enemy to get out, I'd save the Spinies for last. Like, I'd put them at the very tail end. The bees can be a little bit more annoying just because they can hop, so they might be able to get you, whereas you can jump over the crabs if you're careful enough, even under the actual platforms. But the crabs also take 2 hits, and they get faster once you've hit them once, so, you know, it's really whichever you're worse at fighting. I would honestly say, of the two, probably the crabs are the bigger threat, unless the bee's already been sped up. If they're both at, like, green, then I would probably go for the bee, to be honest. Go for the bee. Not the bees! Oh, what was that cartoon they used to air on Nickelodeon? I never watched it, but It was like The Mighty Bee or something. Yeah, I've already shown my age multiple times tonight whenever I was over at my friend's house. There was like one thing I mentioned, and it made me look really old, even by comparison to them, which they're not that much younger than me, but man, it made me look really old. Ah, now I can't even remember what it was. That's gonna bother me now, because now I can't remember what it was. Oh, right, well, in the meantime, I could talk about the the quote-unquote teabagging thing that I mentioned last episode. I'm not teabagging the ground, nor am I teabagging where an enemy was. While I was playing this game, the entire time I was listening to music. It wasn't like a specific playlist, I just kind of had an artist and threw it on loop artist, and once I, you know, finished the recording set or, you know, ran through all the songs and got tired of them all, I would, you know, pause the game and switch my iPod to something else. So, what you're actually seeing me doing the teabagging motions is me, like, actually hitting the down button to the beat of whatever song I'm listening to. And usually it's the beat of the drums, because, you know, the drums are designed to keep the whole song rhythm going in order anyway. But usually it's the drums. Not always, kind of depends on the songs. But I did it all the time in I believe it was the first episode, because I was listening to Dragon Force at the time. Because I don't know why, when I listen to Dragon Force, I just play this game a lot better, which I'm not sure what that says about me. I'm a quote-unquote fan of Dragon Force in the fact that, you know, every now and then it's kind of good to have that, you know, crazy rock and roll feel to it, but it's kind of got the Nickelback issue where everything starts to sound the same. Well, at least for me it does. Nickelback is very prone to that, but point still stands. Nice little tickle in my throat. It's probably because I'm not used to talking this long. Haven't seen much human life in the last few days. Yeah, that's me doing it right there. Man, you gotta stop that. Your greediness with that little fake teabagging thing is gonna get you killed one of these days. Still haven't died yet, but actually, I already said that in the last episode I did in fact die. Now I'm trying to remember where. Because it's been like 2 days since I recorded this. And so honestly I don't even remember anymore. I know I did die. I did bite the bullet at some point. I don't know if it was in this episode or the next, but I did bite the bullet a couple times, yeah. So I guess we'll see. What was I talking about that made me look really, really old? It might have just been me talking about an old movie like Chicken Run or something like that, which, yeah, I'm sure that makes everybody that knows about that movie go, oh man, it's been forever since I heard that. Like Chicken Run, Brave Little Toaster. I had the inability to remember what, we were talking about Toby from, it's kind of weird. Toby from Okami, the little piece of paper that you raise for anybody that's played Okami. We were talking about him at one point, and like how the game's really good about getting you attached to characters. Like you get attached to a piece of paper essentially, and then you know it's somebody said it also reminds me of, you know, Toby from The Office, you know, the character. And I was like, isn't there a dog or something like that that's really famous that's named Toby from like a really old movie/book? And for some reason I was convinced it was Alice in Wonderland. It's not. I was thinking of Toto from The Wizard of Oz, but I was like, why can I not get this straight in my head? I'm pretty sure that's wrong. It's like, follow the yellow brick road. What is that from? I should know this. And as somebody who's seen the original movie once, never read the book, certainly never seen any other adaptations, I guess it's pretty impressive I remembered the dog at all. Let's be honest. I think I was stopping to either change songs there or I was scratching my ear. Something like that, but yeah. That's one of my least favorite habits that I have while playing games. If I get put in a situation where I'm trying to focus and like my head or my ear starts itching, cannot stand that feeling, because like you want to stop and scratch it, and of course to make the irritation go away. But you don't want to take your hand off the, I'd say controller, but in this case, you don't want to take your hand off the keyboard either, you know, lose control and then get hit by an icicle like I almost did there. That's the last thing you need. But yeah, whatever it was made me feel incredibly old. I really don't remember what it was now. Part of me wants to look up when Chicken Run came out. I know Brave Little Toaster was like 70. It was surprised me. I thought it was like an early 80s movie, but it was actually like a late 70s, or it was supposed to be, I thought it was early 90s and it's late 80s. One of the two. I think it was an 87 movie. That sounds right. It's either 87 or 78. I'm pretty sure it's 87. I don't know how I didn't get killed right there. That was just sheer luck. Because I should have been gone right there. Me killing stage hazards, waiting for the enemy to show up. Bonk, bonk, out. Such a satisfying little click right when you jump on their heads. And their butts, really. I mean, you knock them off the stage either way, so. It's gonna bother me to remember what it was then. We also ended up looking up old videos that, you know, our friends and I posted to Facebook, and this is back in, like... They were posted in 2010, but they were probably made sooner than that. If I had to wager a guess, I'd say 08, roughly. So 8 years ago, that would have put me at about 13 years old. It's like, man, we had a lot of time back in our day. A lot of time on our hands back in our day. It was such stupid stuff. It was so much fun, though. Totally don't regret any of it, but it's just funny to see now, I guess. Just looking at, like, all the people that are, like, class above me, I'm like, man, that guy's married now. They're on their second kid, in some cases. I saw one really funny thing in the background that I did not notice before. And yeah, here's me losing a good opportunity there. But we were watching that, and there was at one point where somebody in the background, I got really good combo right there. Somebody in the background, because one of them was during art class, I think, which I never took art. I took computer class until they didn't offer it anymore, and then I took drama after that, because I can't draw or paint or anything like that to save my life, which is really sad, because I should probably have actually tried back in the day, because I absolutely adore art. You know, any kinds, music, you know, painting, drawing, anything that's considered artistic, absolutely adore it. But, you can actually see somebody in the background throw an eraser across the room and hit somebody else in the back of the head with it. And I never noticed that before. I've watched that video, I mean, I haven't seen it recently, but I must have watched that video like 100 times before. And I never noticed that detail until I watched it technically yesterday. And it was so funny that I was just like, how did I never notice this? Because it was somebody that I didn't like anyway that got hit in the back of the head anyway. So it was like, haha, she got hit in the back of the head. Oh well, she was kind of annoying anyway. Which, you know, that was like somebody who was in like 6th or 7th grade, which, at least in my school's case, everybody in 6th and 7th grade were utter brats. And that includes me when I was in 6th and 7th grade, so. Mostly because of entitlement complex, I would assume. Man, am I glad I got over that. Now I have the opposite problem, where I need to let people know that they can't always, you know, just run me over. Get there. Whoa! That icicle tried to clip you, dude. I think that might have ended up what killed me the first time. I think that ended up being what killed me the first time. There we go. Try to phrase it a little bit better. I think I went up to kill an enemy and actually got clipped by an icicle. Like, on the jump, and I was like, really? That's lame. That, of all things, is what got me out? It's like, ugh. What a terrible way to lose your first life. Which, at this point, I'm like at the 13 mark, I think. Nope, there it is. This may be an idiot. 14, wow. Yeesh, had a lot. So I had 15 lives before I lost that one. Which I guess when you consider how far in we are, that's not a crazy amount compared to what, you know, you're used to seeing Mario games give you nowadays, where you get achievements for crown lives. But back in the day, they were not so generous with their one-ups. Believe it or not. You actually had to work a fair amount to get them, and also had to work pretty hard to keep them as well. There's no bubble button back in the day. And technically, this is a two-player game. I remember reading the guide for like the additional two-player version that you could actually pick up players and like throw them in a garbage can, temporarily stall them while you got points, and you could like they could get items. They could get like a POW block. They could get like a one-time use POW block. They could get an egg. They could get a Starman. Like they could get a bunch of really cool stuff. And I'm like, I really wish I had played that. That was me just being stupid, thinking he might have jumped over the coin. He should have known better, man. They don't jump over the coins ever. They didn't do it in stage 7. Why would they do it now? This is why you gotta be really careful. Like, when you lose a life, it's very hard to recover because the stage starts getting more messed up as you're out. You know, the freezies get an opportunity to get you. You know, the fireballs are likely going to spawn on a spot that is inconvenient for you later on. It's just, it's very hard to recover like that. And the only time that it's really remotely decent is if there's only one enemy left, because he's going fast, but you can essentially just wait somewhere and wait for him to pass and then, you know, knock him out. And that's really all you can do. But man, dying in this game, like, it's not a terrible penalty, but it's a lot harder, that's for sure. It'll mess you up pretty bad. And we're already up to stage 80. So 79 is where I lost my first 2 lives. I guess all things considered, like 79 stages in before I lost a life, that's pretty good, really. It could have been worse. I know I've lost more lives than those 2. I'm pretty sure I lost at least 1 more, like in a later video, but we'll be seeing that next episode. Or hopefully I can think of more interesting things to talk about than how old I am. Yay!